All right, today we are going to make a dish called Mexican Tater Tot Hotdish. We're gonna start with grounding some beef. In my hand, I have here a tool called the Mix and Chop. It's from Pampered Chef, and I love it. So you just get in there with your tool, bust up the beef, and as it browns, you keep cutting it with this, and it'll make it into tiny little chunks. Really perfect for what we're going to use it for, okay? So the Mix and Chop, great tool. If you don't have one like this, that's fine. You can just use a regular spatula, wooden spoon. If you're not worried about scraping your pan up, you could use a fork to make nice little tiny bits, but most people have a non-stick pan that you don't want to use metal on. So go ahead and get your beef ground up and browned, and then we will go on to make this into sort of a taco mixture here in a sec. All right, so it's been a couple minutes. You can see how my meat is getting a lot more brown than red. And I just keep chopping it up into little chunks. And next, I'm gonna shut off my heat and try to drain the grease. I'm using hamburger on this, so it's pretty greasy, and I don't want all that ending up in my final product. My meat is browned, and now I'm gonna turn it into taco meat. I'm gonna add 3 tablespoons of this to my taco meat. So I'm switching over from my Mix and Chop to my rubber spatula, and I'm not gonna make this according to the package directions because I don't need it to be really watery. I just want that taco seasoning to get all over the ground beef here. And so I'm kind of spreading it around in the pan. I turned it down low just to kind of keep it warm. Okay, but I'm just gonna make sure that that taco seasoning gets everywhere on my pound of ground beef that I browned up so that it's nice and evenly coated. All right, next we're gonna do a small onion. And you want this diced, and if you don't like onions particularly well, you probably want to dice it up pretty small. So I'm going to leave the root on this onion. That's kind of an important part. It sort of holds the whole thing together. But we want to cut off the end where the stem was and get all this brown papery stuff off. So the best way I found to do that is to just cut down the side of the onion, and then you just peel back that first or second layer of onion skin, okay? And take off the little brown bits, okay? And if you need to go deeper, that's fine. Onions have layers. All right. Now, an easy way to do this, because an onion already has circles, you can cut down into the top of the onion. And if you wanted to, cut a few like this before you chop this way. See, and now we have a nice small dice of onion, okay? And if you're lucky enough to be someone who wears contacts like me, the onion smell won't affect you as much, but some people are really affected by onions, and I've even had kids in the life skills room who have had to do an eye wash station because their eyes were burning so much. All right, so then once I get to the root here, I just kind of cut around it, make it a little square, toss that aside. And we have some decent little onion chunks. This is gonna get added to our ground beef mixture. Okay, so to my ground beef mixture, I've added my onion. I've added some garlic, which got buried by my corn, but it's under there. See, there it is. And I've added about 16 ounces of corn. So if you have a can of corn, that's fine. My corn is frozen. And then if you want beans, you can add that as well. I don't have any beans right now, but black beans would probably be amazing in this, okay? So I'm just going to stir this up for about 5 minutes or so, let the corn kind of thaw and the onions cook down a little bit. To this mixture, while it's cooking, I'm gonna add a little bit of this enchilada sauce. I don't think I'm gonna use this whole can. Last time I used smaller cans and it was green, but I'm gonna add a little bit of this just to kind of get it, maybe a third of the can or so. All right, I did find a can of beans, so I'm going to add those to my mixture. With black beans and any kind of beans in a can, usually you want to give them a rinse and just make sure that you get all that stuff that they're packed in. I don't want to get that off. Sometimes it's corn syrup, sometimes it's water, but you want to give them a good rinse. All right, to our bean, beef, onion, garlic, taco seasoning, corn mixture. I'm gonna add some cheese. That's probably going to be about, I don't know, quarter of a bag, however much was left in there. And the heat of what's in here is just gonna kind of melt the cheese a little bit, and it's going in an oven, so it'll get melty in a bit. All right, so I have my bottom half of my Mexican tater tot hot dish all ready to go. I'm gonna take a little enchilada sauce, a little bit more, and just kind of put that in the bottom of my 9x13 pan. Kind of just enough to sort of coat the bottom a little bit. All right, and then I'm going to put my mixture in my pan. All right, and then just even this out.
Looks pretty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the black beans add some nice variety to that color. And it'll make it a little more hearty, just a little extra protein. The magical fruit. We're going to add the tater tots. We have a
Show us that bag.
32-ounce bag of tots.
Golden
And
tater
it's
tots.
Name brand tater tots because Meyer's out of the Meyer brand.
Spare no expense.
Everybody's buying tots. Who's hoarding the tots?
Yeah, top
Okay.
shelf tots.
Top shelf tots. All right, so we're gonna put some top shelf tots. Whoop. Oh, I opened that poorly.
Hope you're planning on using the whole bag.
I am. And one of these bags will fit a 9x13 pan perfectly.
Oh,
Perfect,
boy.
with maybe 2 or 3, 4 left over. What's your prediction? How many are gonna be left over?
I'm guessing 6.
6 left over. I'm gonna say 4.
Yeah.
And we'll see. Okay?
Yeah. I tell you what, though, we are doing top shelf tots. If we had guests coming over, someone like, let's say, Mr. Edwards or Mr. Zerlot, you know we would serve top shelf tots to those two fine gentlemen.
Even if it wasn't hoarding season
That is true.
for the COVID. Okay.
Yep.
All right, so we're gonna add about a cup of cheese on the top because, you know, who doesn't like cheese, right?
Right.
And for the record, we had about 4 tots left over.
What did you guess, Heidi?
I guess 4.
Oh, you did. I guess 6.
Yeah. See? I win.
You did. That time.
Uh-huh, that time.
We'll have to
All
try a Meyer bag next time.
I'm sure it does way more. All right, and then we're gonna dump just a little bit more of this on top.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
because we have it. And
That's looking pretty.
Whoop, it's kind of a lot. Why not, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then these are gonna get popped in the oven. Once we're done, we'll put some cilantro on, and then we'll have Mexican tater tot hot dish, or casserole, as you Michigan folks like to say. In Minnesota, we call it hot dish.